Hey yo, how you doing, guys? It's me, the one AJ, representing 1/5 of them boys. So you know what that means? We're here, and why are we here? Because it's time for AEW Dynasty, the final stop for the ministry in the prediction show on the AEW front. We only have WrestleMania Night 1 and 2 to go, and the new champion will be crowned or will retain. Because yes, it's between Big Tone and Nico. Yes, our current champ versus our current in the lead champ, as it were. And I don't want to put it down and show favoritism, but the man is on a roll. He's been second so many times and he's coming for first and he ain't letting go. But that's not what it's about right now. It's about AEW, not the ministry, just the wrestling. And it's pretty simple, guys. Yeah, get a point if you get your match point down, and then the winner gets the most points. Look, the description's down there at the bottom. It's all about predictions. If you're this far, you're down with the ministry. So here we go. Match 1. Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. Which way did the guys vote? Let's have a look. Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. Maximum respect to Ospreay and Kevin Knight on this. I just have no idea who Kevin Knight is. I do apologize. So I'm just going to shoot from the hip and go with Will Ospreay on this one. He's not holding the title, so let's give him a trophy. It's the only way I can go on this. No disrespect, Kev. Will Ospreay for the win. Let me do that properly.
Yeah, again, I think we're going to have a really nice flippy-dippy-doodah match here. Awesome for Knight to be able to be on a stage like this with arguably the best wrestler in the world in Will Ospreay, but Ospreay's winning this and probably winning the entire tournament. So yeah, Will Ospreay to win.
This one is my ultimate. I said buy-in, I said from the heart. This one is from the heart and a buy-in at the same time. I can't say no when it's Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay's gonna win, always. Win, lose or draw, he wins. Well, I win because I got to see a Will Ospreay match. I don't really know the person he's going against, but no matter what, it's gonna be a banger. I wish I was actually with the guys this time because this is a match I would love to see, and I know I can watch on my own, but it's best when there's friends around. So yeah, Will Ospreay to win this match.
This is another match where not too knowledgeable about Kevin Knight, but I am knowledgeable about Will Ospreay. Obviously, it's the Owen Hart tournament. And again, don't see Will Ospreay losing the very first match, the first round. Obviously, it'll be a very good match. Obviously, Kevin Knight, he will get a lot of TV time and a lot of recognition, just like he did against the Switchblade. So, and just like he did with, was it Kenny Omega he lost against as well? So he's been getting some recognition. He's been getting some admiration from the crowd. And I think this will probably be yet another match that he loses. No disrespect to him, but I don't think he's got enough stripes on his shoulder in order to beat Will Ospreay just yet. Although it'll be a very, 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 it would be the shock of the night, I would say. However, it's Will Ospreay. I think he's back on this run. I think he's back on a title hunt, and this is just the beginning of it. So your winner, the Billy Goat, Will Ospreay.
Well, I'm just gonna come out and say that, look, Will Ospreay is winning the Owen Hart tournament this year. I just don't see it going any other way than Will Ospreay winning that tournament. So I'm sure this match is to put Kevin Knight, a man who many people may not know, on the map. But ultimately, Will Ospreay is winning the whole thing. So thanks for coming, Kevin. Have a good show, but Will Ospreay for the win.
Yeah, okay, guys. The MO Dub are very much down, should I say, with the Billy Goat that is Will Ospreay, and it's no surprise that we all voted Will Ospreay. So congratulations to you, Will, from a ministry front, but best of luck to you on an actual match front. Okay, guys, up next we are talking the Ring of Honor title versus a mask. One person leaves with everything, the other leaves with nothing. Chris Jericho, the ROH champion, takes on Bandido, the luchador, who's put his mask on the line. Which way did the guys vote? Let's have a look.
Has Jericho finally reinvented himself here the way that he was meant to? Because although there's definitely some shades of his old WCW feud with Juventud here, there's no doubt about that. This is the best I've seen Jericho for a moment. There's subtle and not so subtle hints that the learning tree is going to shed its leaves and that Jericho is going to go in a bit of a different direction. I have not been following this as closely as I should have, because I was initially put off by the fact that Jericho is involved with it, but from the little I have seen, it's made me go, okay, maybe he's auto-correcting after that failed attempt of, hi guys. And I know people are going to say, it was over, for a New York minute. And then people turned on him, you can't wrestle, please retire, let's not forget all that. Why would you take the mask off a luchador? I mean, I get it, but I mean, why would you do it in this capacity? It's harder to call this one, because do they take the belt off of Jericho now and put it on Bandido? Has Jericho held that belt for long enough? And has Jericho done his job about making the Ring of Honor belt more relevant? I'd say probably not. Counter argument to that would be, Jesus, if Jericho can't do it, maybe there is no making that belt more relevant. I'm sure AJ will probably agree with that point. I don't think you demask Bandito here. That wouldn't make the world of sense to me. So I'm going to say we see a title change here, and I'm going to say your new Ring of Honor World Champion, Bandito, Jericho loses.
Well, we have a new champion. Of course we do. You don't put a lucha's mask on the line and expect him to lose. Unless Jericho is trying to troll to become even more hated. I'm a Jericho fan still. I don't watch the product, of course I'll still be, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Bandingo. I'm gonna go with Lucha to win, Bandingo. Hopefully I said it right. Jericho's losing, yeah. It just makes sense.
This is a very interesting match. I mean, once again, you've got the title versus the mask. There's been a couple of matches where that has been very, very interesting. I mean, Rey Mysterio has lost his mask in WCW, and Kane lost his mask in a world title match versus Triple H. Now, obviously, that was a birth of a new era for Kane, and we got the maskless, diabolical, bald-headed Kane. And it did wonders for him. As a matter of fact, he went on to win the world title. I don't know if I can say the same for Bandido, though. I mean, Santos Escobar, he got rid of his mask when he won the Cruiserweight Classic. He won the title and then removed his mask, but he didn't lose the match in order for him to do that. He did that himself. In the world of Lucha Libre, the mask is very sacred. So in order for you to lose your mask is very disrespectful. And in the rules of Lucha Libre, if that happens in a match, you'd get disqualified. So I don't know, you've got to tread very carefully when it comes to a Lucha Libre mask. Any other type of mask, I get it. And we haven't seen that for a long time, I would say. But again, what has Chris Jericho done with the world title since he's won it? Well, he's done some things, but is he going to retain it? Does Bandito become the champion? Does he get to keep his mask? Again, it would be very interesting if he lost it. Would it be a new era? Would it be a new turn? Would he even still be called Bandito? Because if you lose your mask, can you still go by that identity? If you've lost it, I guess you've got to lose your name as well. But I don't see where they would be going in that with Bandito. There's so much talent on that roster. I just don't see Bandito coming in out of nowhere and starting to win titles because of that. Turn heel, he could, but where would it take him? The only way it would become interesting would be if he won it and then he lost it again. Obviously, this becomes an ongoing, slow build rivalry. Maybe it will go on to All In or whatever the big main event is after this one. But I'm going to go ahead and be brave. There could be a few title changes in this PLE, because once again, I'm going to say your new Ring of Honor World Champion. Oh, or should I? Or should I? See, it's a very interesting stipulation. If it was like you get your hair cut, or you have to be my waiter and stuff, it'd be a very easy call. But the mask versus the title, what is this like? All right, I was gonna say still, but I'm gonna be brave. Your new Ring of Honor World Champion, Bandido. I just don't see him losing that mask. Although it would be very interesting if he did, but I just don't know where they'd be going with it. So yeah, new champion, Bandido.
Well, it would seem that AEW are heavily invested in this whole Bandino train. They're pushing him like, whoa. And like the stipulation of this match, the nature of this match, like, come on, man. I cannot see Jericho getting his mask here. Plus, Jericho's had that RH title for a while in it, so yeah, you can pass it to someone else, man. Hey, someone that actually might appear on Ring of Honor. So, yeah. I think Bandito, he's going to get it done. He's going to like beat Jericho. He's going to take his title. Bandito for the win.
Instinctively, you go with the name you know. So I'm going to be like Chris Jericho. I've heard Bandito. I've not seen a single match of Bandito. When I was pulling up the poster, I was like, oh, so that's what he looks like. Maybe if he loses, I'll even be like, wow, that's what he looks like. But it wouldn't be a big shock to me because it's the first time I've seen the guy. I'm going to go with Bandito. I don't know. Put it this way. Maybe there's an angle behind it, but I don't like luchadors losing their masks. It's not really my kind of get up. I wasn't opposed when Rey Mysterio lost it, mind you. I'm going to go with that side. Juventud also worked with, so maybe it could work for Bandito. However, on the other side, I feel like we've tried to elevate Ring of Honor with Jericho, and it hasn't. Like, spade a spade. So Jericho could just move back into an AEW picture of some sorts. Maybe he even becomes face and, hi guys, he's looking at Mox. I don't know. Or maybe he looks at Swerve. Watch till the end of the video, see which way I go. But yeah, I'm going to go with Bandito to just be a Ring of Honor champ and be like, and respectfully, when I say this, the unknown guy with the unknown title. Like it's you know the name that's being elevated, and Bandito's name is not being pushed in that level. And I believe if he's a Ring of Honor star, let him hold the bloody Ring of Honor title, not the AEW star. So anyway, long story short, Bandito to keep his mask and to walk out with the Ring of Honor title. Because why not? Why not? Why not indeed? But I need to say it because I know if you're watching, you're gonna agree. Leon says, if you lose your mask, you lose your name. But he mentioned Kane, he mentioned Rey Mysterio. I would also add Juventud Guerrera, and I would add Psychosis. All gentlemen who have lost their mask kept their name. Just putting it out there. So Bandito, the name could be safe. I'm not saying he won't change his name, but it's not a prerequisite with losing your title. Anyway, enough of that. Let's talk some money, because Mercedes Moné takes on Julia Hart in the first round of the Owen Hart Women's Tournament. How did the guys vote? Let's have a look.
Mercedes Moné, Julia Hart. I saw a video on Instagram with Moné doing a promo, and no one cared. I think she's the next one going back to WBE. Stay there, stay in AEW, collect your money until Tony realized it didn't work out, and then move on. And anyway, let's not go into it. After all that, Moné is still gonna win, yeah, because money equals money. But does she?
This, again, for me, I think it's another filler match. I don't really think there's much to deliberate on here. There's not been no slow build. I don't even think there's been that much of a promo. This match has just come up out of nowhere. If it was someone like Chris Statlander or something else like that, I think I'd have a little bit more to deliberate on. And since the House of Blackheart no more, what version of Julia Hart did we get this time? Obviously, she comes up with the same persona, but where does she go from here? Obviously, it would be very interesting for her to start going on her run. But again, I don't think it's enough to beat Mercedes Moné. And then on top of that, if she's going into this Owen Hart Foundation tournament, then obviously it makes sense for her to have all of the belts in pursuit of the world title, you know, and it may even lead to that. She may even win that as well. So that being said, still your TBS Women's Champion. It is Mercedes Moné.
Very interesting one here. And I don't even know what the house, what they call the House of Dogs or something. Well, the former House of Black without Alistair Black, whatever they're called these days. I'm not even sure if they're like faces or heels or whatever. But yeah, Mercedes versus Julia is an interesting match, and you know, essentially, I'm gonna say it's heel versus heel. I'm not really sure like where those guys stand at the moment. But either way, Moné is like going for all the belts, and like you know, I think she's gonna be adding this Owen to it as well. And like I've been saying for months now that the big match they got is Tony versus Mercedes, and yeah, like if the title match from the Owen goes to All In, then this is how Mercedes gets there. Yeah, we could be looking at 5 belts Moné really soon.
This may be pretty easy for most, but it's kind of hard for me. But I'm going to go with gut, and I'm going to go with Julia Hart, not because it's the Owen Hart Foundation and she's surname Hart. No relation as well. She's American, they're Canadian. But my main thing is I'm down with House of Black and Hounds of Hell continues. But let's be honest, Mercedes Moné can lose this because there's no titles on the line. So let's go with a non-obvious winner in this. Let's have a bit of a shock. They'll probably then say that she's entitled to a TBS title shot where Mercedes will then win. Spoiler. Hey, don't listen to me, I'm losing. But yeah, I'm going to go with Julia Hart for the victory on this one. And when they run it back, Mercedes will win. Listen to me if you do, don't if you don't. But that's my prediction on it.
Now, for me, the smart booking here would be to have Julia Hart go over, cause the big shock. And then, because Julia Hart's not winning this tournament, but because she beat Mercedes, that would make her kind of by proxy number one contender for one of Moné's belts, and then set up a feud down the line, and that would be cool. They're not going to do that. I believe Mercedes is, I don't know if she's winning the tournament, but she's certainly winning this match. Although it does seem to be all roads pointing towards Mercedes and Tony going at it in the long term, right? But yeah, for now, without giving too much of the future away, I'd say Mercedes Moné wins this one.
I haven't fallen asleep. My head is down in shame. Because, guys, I did not realise that the Owen Hart tournament was a link to the All-In title shot. And I did not, obviously, predict Mercedes Moné to not go into that because, as many of them have said, it will lead to Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné. We've been waiting long enough. Let the champs fight. But you know what? I'm not going to cheat and be like, I've edited the videos and I've seen what they said. I will just hang my head in shame and admit that I screwed up. So, yes, best of luck, Julia Hart, and bloody win the title, girl, because I don't want Moné to win because I'm the only one who voted stupidly. Anyway, we move on as there are more titles on the line in a clear way where it's directly sent, like showing. Anyway, I'm not going to moan. I'm going to present. I'm going to keep my cool. AJ in the prediction versus AJ the presenter are two very different men. Just, I can be bitter. Anyway, enough. It's the Death Riders versus Rated FTR. Trios title on the line. Which way did the guys vote? Let's have a look.
Now, this title match, this trios title match is quite interesting because I've been saying to myself, what's been going on with those trios titles? For 2 or even 3 PLEs now, it's not been defended. The Death Riders have been on a different type of story sort of thing. You know, there's been things individually going on with them. And again, they could be in a situation where they don't need the trios titles for them to tell a story. Much less, like I said, it's not been defended, where before they had those titles, they were being defended almost every week. So what's going on with the Death Riders? Is it time for them to give those titles up? However, speaking of dissension, you've got Rated FTR, you've got Dax Harwood. What's going on with him? Did he really mean that he was sorry to his tag team partner? Or is there something still scratching in the surface there? And with Adam Copeland, he failed to get the world title for, I think, the second time now. So what's going on with him? Is he going to be the glue that keeps FTR together? In matter of fact, is he going to be the glue that keeps rated FTR together? We don't know. As much as it would be good for them to win, because all three of them rated FTR, have had a bit of crap in their pursuits of titles lately. So for all of them to become champions collectively, that would be a nice story. However, you know, is there still dissension in the ranks where a mistake could happen and, you know, we're back where we started again? Is it a tag team breaking up? Obviously, I don't see anyone turning heel. There's not really been any reason for them to. I don't see where they would go if one of them were to turn or go into singles situations. But again, it's kind of a hard match to kind of call. And I think maybe there's something going on here where, I don't know, I've just got a feeling that the Death Riders are going to retain here. It could be a night where they lose all of their titles. Do you know what I mean? And that could be something as well. Okay, so as much as I believe that the Death Riders are going to retain, I don't know, purely because I think there's something going on with the dissension in the ranks. I'm going to be brave and I'm going to call that it's going to be a very bad night for the Death Riders. And in order for that to happen, I guess they've got to lose all of their world titles. But then what match comes first? Does the world title match come first? Does the trios title come first? If the trios comes first, do they win and then Swerve loses? Or do they lose and then Swerve wins? Which way is it going to happen? Or is it going to be a complete combustion of the faction in itself? We don't know. But I'll be brave and say, still your AEW Trios champions, the Death Riders. And that's that Castagnoli, Wheeler Utah, and the Bastard Pack. Yeah, still your Trios world champions.
You know, I wish they would do more with the Trios titles, man. Like, I feel it's a good idea. Like, because again, AEW at one time had many factions, and it was a good idea to have a sort of faction title. But nowadays, they just seem slightly borderline redundant because, yeah, even though the Death Riders have them, they're part of the main storyline, we don't see those titles because of the Death Riders storyline, so you forget about them. But anyway, here we are, Edge and FTR going for their consolation prize, I guess. Will they win? It's difficult to say this one, actually, because again, like I said, are we trying to build up some type of storyline where what Dash is going against Edge? That don't make any sense. But unless somehow this leads to some roundabout way of FTR eventually going against Edge and Christian. How that comes about, I don't know. But will Death Riders retain the gold? I'm going to say, yeah. I'm going to say, like, there's going to be some confusion, miscommunication, and, yeah, Death Riders walk away with the gold. Further progressing the storyline, whatever they're trying to do with FTR and Cope.
But based on star power alone, rated FTR should be the champs. Like, that's just the way of it. Not knocking the talent on the other side, but rated FTR should walk out with this. It could also be the beginning of the cracks of the Death Riders as the people holding AEW hostage without holding AEW hostage. I'm going to go with rated FTR on this. There's a part of me that was going to say, but maybe Christian interferes once again because he's upset he lost his title shot. But hey, bro, you lost it through you. Like, it had nothing to do with Adam or Cope, whatever you want to call it. But let's go with this. They win. And there's cracks in the patriarchy, but what if the patriarchy then decide to take the titles off of rated FTR? Team Edge versus Team Christian. Let's go with that. A lot of predictions out here that are just wild thoughts. Yeah, I'm just going to go with it. Rated FTR for the win, because honestly, for the longest while, I didn't even know who the Trios champs were. So let's put it on someone who's going to put a bit of excitement and a bit of cash in there. Rated FTR for the win.
So I think you're going to see the implosion of FTR here. That's what's been insinuated, at least. Which makes me quite happy. I've said for the longest time that I think Dax Harwood is a complete waste of space, and I really rate Cash Wheeler. Of the two of them, he'd be my pick, despite the fact that everyone's seeming to have a hard-on for Hardwood. Or Harwood, sorry. Hardwood. Yeah, I think the Death Riders retain, which would further support my idea that Moxley beats Swerve so they all keep gold around their waists. And then we move on to the next pay-per-view. But yeah, no, this is going to be the implosion of FTR. So yeah, Death Riders to retain here, unfortunately.
Death Riders versus FTR. Sorry for calling it out because he's been introduced, but yeah, I gotta do it again. I'm not a big fan of FTR. They're slow, old school in a new school era, so not a big fan of them. So because of that, I'm gonna go with the other team. Who is it? Pac and Cesaro. Can't help it. I'm sorry. I'm WWE. Well, WF to be real. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Death Riders to win for the simple fact that I find FTR boring. Yeah, I said it. Don't come at me.
So, spoiler alert on my side, guys. Win or lose, FTR will be a tag team. I don't know. Everyone's looking for this implosion. FTR are not going anywhere. That's an AJ promise guarantee. I'm not Tony Khan. I'm not Wheeler or Hard. I need to call them Hardwood or Hardwood. But either way, FTR go nowhere with or without the titles. Apologies on that one, then. But yeah, guys, interesting. The card is split somewhat. Okay, let's go on. Another title on the line as Daniel Garcia takes on Adam Cole, baby. Which way did the guys vote? Let's have a look.
So I actually forgot about Garcia versus Cole. It's a shame that most of the interaction has been carried out on Collision, so a lot of people have missed it and missed the story. Hell, a lot of it, right, they could at least put recaps of it on Dynamite so people know what's going on, but unfortunately because of that, a lot of people missed it. So, again, it's just one of those things, man. As for who's going to win, I think it does help Garcia to be put over the top by one of the very best in the business, Adam Cole, baby. But at the same time, his TNT title run has really been a bit of a bust. Yeah, maybe not by his fault, it's just, but they haven't really given much to do. He hasn't really been front and center in storylines like he should have been. And because of that, people ain't care so much about his title reign. And because of that, do you take it and put on the more popular Adam Cole to give him something to do? Honestly, I think you do. I think we're going to have a new TNT champion, and his name is Adam Cole, baby.
This should really be like one of those matches where you'd be like, oh, now Daniel Garcia gets to prove he's in the big time. And from be it New Japan, be it NXT, I've always been a huge Adam Cole fan, baby. But it's not looking good for Adam Cole right now, is it? It just isn't. We're a long way away from Undisputed Era, Undisputed Kingdom, or Undisputed Kingdom. I think I got it right for once. We're a long way away from that. I'm gonna go with Garcia to win. I would love for Adam Cole to hold it, to hold some form of gold, and maybe even make his faction relevant, which I don't think will happen if they're even still together. But yeah, I'm going to go with Garcia, and it hurts me to say that I don't have the backing for Adam Cole. But yeah, Daniel Garcia for the win.
What do you get when you get two guys who are perennial losers in AEW? I never thought I'd associate that with Adam Cole. AJ will be very familiar with this. The guy who frequently bets on Daniel Garcia and who often gets disappointed. So with that rationale, I think by the same way that you never bet against Sami Zayn at a WWE pay-per-view, I don't really think you should bet on Daniel Garcia at an AEW pay-per-view. The guy just doesn't win on the big stage. So I'm going to say, yeah, Adam Cole's finally going to get some singles gold here. So Adam Cole takes the title. It'll probably be a very good match. They've had 2 matches so far and they haven't been conclusive. So, and there's no outside interference as well, which would make people lean maybe towards Garcia, because Adam Cole and his bum boys won't have the opportunity to help. But you gotta put the gold on Cole, surely. So yeah, Adam Cole to win this one.
You got Cole, Adam Cole, baby. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Adam Cole just because. I'm gonna go to the thing. I know him, and yeah, I had seen him wrestle for a little while. Yeah, he was injured, didn't he? And he was out and was a heel. I don't know if he's still a heel, but yeah, Adam Cole. I'm picking Adam Cole just for the sake of Adam Cole, baby. That's why. I like that chant.
This is a very another hard match to call, because for a long time now, Adam Cole has been due a singles title and hasn't had one yet. It has been some time. And at the same time, Daniel Garcia has carried that TNT championship very well. But is it time for him to drop the title to Adam Cole? Baby, I don't know. It's a very, very hard one to call. Evidently, it would be a really good feather in his cap if Garcia were to beat Adam Cole, baby. But at the same time, it wouldn't be too much of a loss if he lost to Adam Cole. You know, he's one of the best wrestlers going right now. And again, it wouldn't be a disgrace if he were to lose the title to him. However, who can afford the loss is my question here. You know, we've only just pushed Daniel Garcia to the moon. He's finally got that TNT championship. But I think he needs to get a few more wins under his belt. Adam Cole can afford the lose here more than Daniel Garcia, even though he is the champion, the reigning defending champion. And then I'm thinking the story would be more interesting if Adam Cole were to lose, because obviously where does he go from here? Is that the match that makes him lose it and then obviously turns heel? Does he walk away from the Undisputed Kingdom? Do they help him? Do they turn on him? What's going to happen? Anything could happen here. Whereas Daniel Garcia, if he loses, where does he go? Like, does he turn on his best friends? Does he turn heel again? What happens, you know? Who would be his next contender? And then on saying that, who would be Adam Cole baby's next contender if he were to win it? However, I think it's something where Garcia has to prove something here. So I'm going to say still your TNT champion, Daniel Garcia.
Okay, so the guys are split. Look, this is good because it kind of separates from a clear, like everyone's gone one way or everyone's gone the other. We hopefully will get a clear winner. Obviously, we might get a different winner based off of point. Anyway, it matters not. You get what I'm going with. We're going separate. We got different minds, different book of minds. Mine's not so good this year. Anyway, matters not. Guys, here's the question. Have you been excited by the Owen Hart tournament? We've mentioned 2 matches. Would you like a third? It doesn't matter because you're going to get it. We are talking Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe. Which way did the guys vote? Let's have a look. So, does Tony Khan go down the route of having a man who lost his brother at an untimely time, who was an awesome wrestler, win a tournament where a man also lost his brother in an untimely time and was an awesome wrestler? Or do we go with Kyle Fletcher? I'm going to go with Kyle Fletcher. Nothing against Mark Briscoe. He's always there. He's always got that nice little sentimental value. He's crazy as AF, should I say? Well, crazy AF. And fans do have that soft spot for him and always do like him. And he is good in the ring, but Kyle Fletcher is a talent. He's come off the loss to Ospreay. And I think he still needs to show he's still in the game. And it's not just about that. I could go as far as to say I think this is our Owen Hart Trophy winner overall, but I'm just going to go with him to win this so far. I don't know if I want to see him versus Will again, but then I don't want to see Will Ospreay versus Briscoe, and I don't know who else is in the tournament. But yeah, so far Kyle Fletcher for the win.
Mr. Reliable and Mark Briscoe, but who Mr. Reliably doesn't usually win. against probably the most improved wrestler in the world in Kyle Fletcher. It's amazing what this guy's been through and how much of a big name he's become in this last 18 months. Like, good for him, man. Kyle Fletcher's winning this. Bums me out a little bit because it means you're effectively setting up Ospreay and Fletcher again. But yeah, Fletcher's winning this, irrespective of what happens next. Fletcher to win this one.
Mark, thank you for coming. But I see Keith Fletcher winning this one just for storyline purposes or something like that. I've seen the brackets. I've seen the running for it. I would love for Will to win. I know he won't. He doesn't need it. But I would love for Will to win. And yeah, I would need to see more storyline to see why this and that. But anyway, that's the wrong match. Keith Fletcher is winning this one. I'm picking Keith to win. Thank you for coming, Mark Briscoe. And great job.
Now, Carl Fletcher is another one that seems to be on this relentless run. And I don't know, for some reason, that Owen Hart tournament could end up with Carl Fletcher versus Will Ospreay again. Although I'm not sure if that is going to happen. It would be interesting, and it would be an interesting way for them to come across each other again via a tournament. Because that's another way, I guess, you can bring two people to fight again via a tournament, even if they vow never to fight each other again, even if they've moved on from the previous match that they've had. Mark Briscoe is a very good contender. I mean, he came very close to winning that tournament last time. And when it comes to tournaments, to be fair, Mark Briscoe has actually got a good record. He seems to do very well in these tournaments. However, Carl Fletcher, whether it's nefarious means or whatever, I think it's too powerful for him to lose the match. No disrespect to Mark Briscoe, but obviously they're going to start telling stories from the very get-go here. And I guess you're going to see one side with Will Ospreay and another side with Carl Fletcher. So your winner of the match is Carl Fletcher.
Although AEW has been doing a great job with Kyle, due to his multiple losses to Will, which was to be expected eventually, anyhow, even though we got the first big win over him. I didn't think he was going to win that feud. But because of that, like, a bit of steam has been lost by him. So they need to reignite that. Like, everyone loves Mark Briscoe, but he's one of those people that can take a loss, can lose every day of the week and still be bulletproof and come back and win and no one will be surprised. So, yeah, he's going to take a loss here, man. Kyle Fletcher for the win.
Okay, it seems like Kyle Fletcher's got everybody's support. Look, United Empire's got a lot of love out here. I know he's Don Callis' family now. I'm not that out of it, guys. Anyway, talking of Don Callis' family, let's talk about a former member of the Don Callis family, the original Don Callis guy, as it were. Your current champion, Kenny Omega, as he takes on Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Ricochet in a triple threat match, title on the line. Which way did the guys vote? Let's have a look.
A match of the year contender, this one. I mean, Kenny Omega and Mike Bailey back in PCW was brilliant. Omega's always said how much he rates Bailey. And you throw Ricochet in there, I think, to eat the pin. Because you need to protect the new guy, Bailey, and you need to keep the belt on Omega. So, this is going to be a match of the year contender if it pans out the way I think it does. This is going to be incredible. Kenny does seem to have found his footing again, and he's got that zip in his step back, much, I'm sure, to Jim Cornette's chagrin. Twinkle Toes has twinkled back. And Bailey's just world-class, and Ricochet is an amazing heel, despite what the naysayers used to say. Omega's retaining, though. Has to be Kenny.
Omega is back, and I haven't seen his matches yet. But these should be great because you got some of the best athletes going up against each other. So with that, but there's a thing I got, ease my curse, because whenever I pick Omega, he loses, and then I go pick the Young Buck and they win, and vice versa. But in this case, I'm going to go with Omega because I need to see him again, and I need to keep, I think he's got a title, so where is it? Yeah, he does. He's a champion. Kenny's winning. Kenny's keeping the belt. I've got the wiki in front of me.
Now, I have to say, congratulations to Speedball Mike Bailey. You know, I didn't even know. Actually, no, yes, I did. Yeah, I know he got released. It was a bit of a shock, actually. That's what I was gonna say. It's been quite a shock to see him get released from TNA. I mean, he was doing really good. He was a worthy X Division champion, and he held it well, defended it against all comers, and even lost it on his shield, I would say. So his career was going kind of good, and then all of a sudden, he's gone. So welcome, Speedball Mike Bailey, to AEW, and how incredible that he's managed to get himself a title match so soon after joining AEW, but all I have to say is well done. In terms of Ricochet, he's been pursuing a title since he's joined AEW. Obviously, the Swerve thing is done now, and now he's moving on to golden pastures. Not even green, but golden pastures. But could this be the pasture? Could this be the gold that he gets? We don't know. But again, Kenny Omega only just got the international title in an incredible match. And I think this is his first defense since winning that international title. And again, will he lose that title? I don't think so. Yes, it will be an incredible match. Yes, there will be some close calls. Hell, it might even steal the show. But in terms of a new champion, I don't think we're ready for that title change just yet. Kenny Omega's just got it back. We need to start seeing him defend it. And it's not even about him getting notches on his belt because he's already got them. Yeah, this is why he was called the cleaner. This is why he was called the best wrestler in the world. Can't really say that with Bailey and Ricochet, although they are very good contenders for being so, there's not enough championships to accolade that. And in terms of them getting there, obviously Kenny Omega would be a massive feather in the cap. However, still, your AEW International Champion, it's got to be Kenny Omega.
In what surely must be the match of the night, three-way international title, man. Like, look, with the names involved, man, Omega, Ricochet, and Speedball, if this isn't the match of the night, then wow. I'll be shocked, because that would just mean the match that is the match of the night is that much better, because these are three of the very best to be doing it, not just now, but ever. And we're cramming them all into one match. Like, it's going to be exciting, it's going to be great. Well and truly, if I was voting for who I wanted to win, I would say Ricochet, because Ricochet sort of deserves it, and his whole heel persona now needs that extra push. But yeah, I think Kenny's just got back. He's just got that title. Yeah, so they're just gonna keep Kenny defending it and going through like some good feuds. Like, unfortunately, that is at the expense of Speedball, who's made his debut. But to be honest, like, this is a massive match for him to be in so soon as well. So good luck to all of them. But yeah, Omega's gonna win.
So we have Kenny, who's just won the title, Ricochet, who just lost at the same pay-per-view that Kenny just won the title, and then we have Mike Ballspeed Bailey, who's just signed with the company. Too soon for Mike. Ricochet would be good, but let's be honest, as much as Kenny's bulletproof, as most would say, he's also just coming back, so this loss wouldn't be ideal. And let's be honest, if we're going to give him the title, let's not do it just for the sake of giving him the title. Let's get a bit of a run into it. I would like Ricochet to win. Speedball will be the ultimate fodder in it all, I suppose, but that's just because he's the newest one, but he will still impress for anyone who's not familiar with Mike Bailey. Check out some TNA stuff. But yeah, I'm going to go with Kenny Omega to retain. I could be wrong. If Ricochet wins, I won't be upset, but Kenny. Okay. So a lot of love for Kenny going into that one. So let's keep it moving. Time is of the essence. You guys have been sticking with me. So let's go Timeless start. And yes, Timeless Toni Storm defends her title against newcomer Megan Bayne. Which way did we vote? Chin up and let's have a look.
This should be my automatic buy-in all the time. I don't know why I have to predict, because I always will pick the timeless one. Of course, I want to pick Tony Storm to win because what I see is Tony. Anyway, I don't want to go into it. I've seen a bunch of clips on the online, and Tony's killing it. Uh, yeah, I don't know the person she's up against. I just have to look her up. I've got screens in front of me with names of people, but I'm gonna stick with it. Tony's gonna win this one. That's right, the timeless one.
Once again, we are getting truly entertaining TV from Timeless Tony Storm, and we have a new contender in Megan Bain. Now, she hasn't been in there long, and she's already got a World Championship title match, and it's pretty impressive. I'll give her that. She's definitely big time strong, and close to Strowman. She is one big, you know what I mean? But I don't know if it's enough to get the world title just yet. I mean, it would be very impressive if she did. I mean, I guess that's how you push somebody to the moon. But I don't think there's been a rivalry long enough in order for that to happen. Yes, they've had the little twos and fronts, but it's not exactly been like Mariah May and Timeless Tony Storm. Now, that was a slow build. Now, I know you can't have slow build after slow build after slow build. You've got to kind of mix it up a little bit. But I still don't think it's enough for Megan to become world champion. I have a feeling that there might be some type of disqualification here or something, like she's going to be hitting her in the corner, Megan's going to be hitting Timeless in the corner, and then they fail to break for the 5 count and then gets disqualified, or a chair gets brought in, or the title gets brought in, she hits Timeless Tony Storm with it and gets caught and gets disqualified. Timeless could pull off an Eddie Guerrero, you know, and throw the belt to Megan Bain and then just, you know, knock out on the floor. And then the referee's like, what? Hang on, did you hit with the belt? Ding, ding, ding. Still your champion. I mean, there's many ways that it could go. But to keep it short and sweet, Timeless has only just got that title back. I think there's only been one PLE since she's won it back to defend it. She's redefended it against Mariah May. So that's the proving point to say, yes, I am the champion now. So for her to lose it just like that, there's not really been a storyline to convince me with that. So still, your AEW Women's World Champion, Timeless Tony Storm.
What a treat it is to see Timeless Tony Storm back with her title. She deserves it. She's still the best woman in AEW. And, yeah, like, it's interesting that they're feeding her Megan Bain straight away. Megan's got, like, potential. I like the look. I like her build and everything, but at the same time, I do feel like this is somewhat of a filler match as well, because, yeah, Megan Bain is coming in strong, but why are we elevating her to the main event straight away? Maybe it's to do some shock value and have her take the belt off Tony, but I don't even think that would be good for Megan, because, again, a lot of people don't know who she is, and, like, it will just feel redundant when you've got so many great talents like Thunder Rosa, for example, Diana Perazzo, Taya Valkyrie, like that you could elevate to that position instead. Yeah, but instead we're going with Megan Bain. I'm sure she'll have a good showing, but I don't see Megan winning at this point, so Tony Storm for the win.
So, Megan Bain, the name always sticks out to me every time I read it, see it. I see the name, not it as in Megan Bain. She's a lady. I'm just going to go down the route of she was not meant to be. I was meant to be at the GCW show in London, and she was there, and I missed it, so I haven't seen her perform live, and every time I heard her name, I'm a bit gutted I missed her perform. But taking that aside, we're talking Timeless One versus Megan Bain, the newly signed AEW star, who's looking pretty prominent, but let's be honest, Tony Storm just came off of one heck of a match. She's got her precious back, and she's not just going to drop it just like that, is she? So you know what, chest up, tits out, mind out for the shoes. Tony Storm to retain. Sorry, Megan. Maybe you'd be good for Mercedes, but you're not taking it off of Tony. So yes,
I don't think we need to dawdle on this one. Timeless Tony Storm is over as hell. Megan Bain, I think of all the big female powerhouses that exist in the world nowadays, between your Camille's and your Jade Cargills and her, She probably interests me the most, given how much of a presence she has versus how green she is. So I'm very curious just to see what they do with her. She does, from what I've seen, and considering her relative experience level, have pretty good in-ring. Ain't taking the belt off Tony. Tony Storm for the win.
Okay, guys, if you're still with us, I do appreciate it. Right, there are 2 more matches, so let's not waste any time. Let's get to business. In fact, let's go to the Syndicate, because it's the Hurt Syndicate versus the Learning Tree. Which way did the guys vote, and who did they think will be leaving as AEW Tag Team Champs? Let's have a look.
See, this is another thing as well. It could also be a disappointing night for the Learning Tree, because Chris Jericho could lose his world title, and the Big Bill and the tag team partner could fail to get the tag team championships, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So could it be a disappointing night for 2 factions? Could it be a disappointing night for the Learning Tree as well? I think this is going to be more of a filler match, although it's going to be very entertaining TV, because the Hurt Syndicate are going to beat they're going to beat the crap out of the Learning Tree. Don't really see it much as a threat, and even with nefarious means, I don't even think with that they're able to hurt the Hurt Syndicate. So still, your world tag team champions, ladies and gentlemen, they hurt people. The Hurt Syndicate, still your AEW World Tag Team Champions.
Not going to be a very good night for the Learning Tree. Not only do I have it pegged for their fearless leader to get his ass whooped, but also his underlings, his saplings, his seedlings, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, Big Bill and Brian Keith. Unfortunately, they're going to be the Hurt Syndicate's next victims, as they indeed do hurt people. Those are the people that are going to get hurt, man. There ain't no way those guys will get the tag team titles, man. Hurt Syndicate for the win.
They hurt people, and you can't teach that. Which one am I going? Of course, guys, I'm going with the Hurt Syndicate. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff with the Learning Tree, but it's not going to be a good night for them. Spoiler for anything else that's coming or has gone already. But the Hurt Syndicate will retain and are still your AEW Tag Team Champions.
Brian Keith eats the pin. Big Bill gets protected. Maybe the Learning Tree completely falls apart. The Hurt Syndicate absolutely dominate. End of story. The Hurt Syndicate to win.
Another buy-in for me. I'm going to put the Hurt Business... No, wait. Not Hurt Business. What they call it again in this company? Hurt Syndicate. So, yeah, of course I want to pick the Hurt Syndicate, because I love them when they were the other name, in the other company. Now they're here, doing their thing and doing it better. I just need some more talent in their group. So, yeah, but for the moment, leave it where it is and let them be them. Let them cook. So, yeah. Going with Hurt Syndicate to win this, because, yeah.
Let them cook indeed, my bro. I agree. And I like the way we just kept that short and sweet. I can't promise that for the main event, because everyone's got to have their reasons and their talents. So, guys, it's the final one. John Moxley, your champion, versus the man who swerves when he drives. Yes, Swerve Strickland, John Moxley, AEW title on the line. Let's not waste any time. Had the guys vote. Let's have a look.
So, main event time. And while the feud has actually been somewhat entertaining, ultimately, I feel that like it's still just filler. You know, this whole Death Riders storyline seems to be a bit off the rails when, like, I still really don't get what their point is. Like, okay, AEW is not what Moxley wants it to be. He's tried to make it what he wants it to be. Like, at this point, they need something to pivot. They need to actually, like, do something to make it seem a bit cohesive, because it just seems all over the place. And, like, your contenders step up, they get knocked down, and then they just what? They don't bother fighting the Death Riders again. Like, you know, wasn't Orange Cassidy like leading the charge against Omux a couple of months ago, and just now they don't touch, they don't talk, or they don't do anything. And so like Swerve is the next person in this whole like roster that like Moxley is going through. And yeah, like he's not gonna be any more successful than the rest of them. I don't think the build has been like strong enough for that, and they just seem to be content like with like going on with the story for as long as possible. So yeah, unfortunately Moxley retains. Sure, it'll be a good match though, but yeah, Moxley for the win.
Tough one. Gut versus Heart. Gut is instantly saying Mox is retaining, Death Riders continue to ride on. But I do feel like Swerve, like if it was anyone else but Swerve, I'd be on it. Do we go for a FaceTime NJF to probably take out a Death Rider? I don't know. Do I want this to be a bad night for the Death Riders? I don't really care about the Death Riders. I don't really care. I don't want to say I don't really care about AEW, but I've not followed the product enough to be on the bandwagon of it. It's got to come to an end. But I'd like to see Swerve back in that position. I wouldn't want to see him lose this. This is tough. I really want to say Mox. Look, I don't even think I could catch up with Den, so screw it. Swerve Strickland to win and become your new AEW champ. But honestly, deep down, I think it's Mox. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Heart, not with Gut, and you should never do that, guys. But Swerve for the win.
Look, it's one of those, isn't it? I think everyone wants to see Swerve Strickland win this one. The reality is, I don't think that's happening. Let me break it down why. I think it's universally agreed that this Death Riders thing has been an unequivocal disaster, catastrophe, failure. But they've pivoted away from that initial storyline, which was, we're here to protect the heart and soul of AEW. They've moved away from that, and now it's just, they're a bad bunch of people doing bad people stuff. So that whole AEW thing is gone. And they really need a marquee scalp to add to their collection. All the love in the world for Adam Copeland, he's 50. All the respect in the world, just no. Jay White couldn't even get his on pay-per-view. You know, it's all been a bit of a catastrophe. Swerve Strickland, who, as I've said repeatedly, if this was a Champions League table, he's making the top 4 and gets the European spot. Because Swerve Strickland is one of the best 4 wrestlers in AEW, in my opinion. They need to beat Swerve here. Despite the fact, what do I want is Swerve to win? They need to beat Swerve to get that marquee scalp. So, regrettably, I'm saying John Moxley.
Moxley versus Swerve. Moxley's with Death Riders. I think they're the mega team right now. They're like the big faction. You know what? I just want to go off on a big tangent about the reason why the leader can't lose and blah, blah, blah. But I like Swerve. So because I can't really win this competition, I'm just battling not to come last. I'm going to give one match with my heart. And this is going to be it. Swerve is going to win. You know, yeah. So yeah, Swerve Strickland's going to win this match. That's it. I'm just making a pick. Let me quickly jump out.
This is a very hard match for me to call in the AEW World Championship fight. I mean, I've already given you my feelings about John Moxley and the whole Death Riders thing. I'm bored of it. I don't really see where it's going. It's just the same thing with every opponent that they have. It's the same thing. It was the same thing with Edge. It was the same thing, like with all the past opponents for John Moxley. It's just been the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's just kind of getting bored now, and I don't see where they're going with it. The whole title in the briefcase thing, like I said, we've already got your cash your card in sort of thing, which Christian failed to cash in. So there's no more briefcase sort of thing anymore. So why is the title being held in a briefcase? Even given justification as to why it was in the briefcase, I can't justify it. I can't see where they're going with it. I'm bored of it. And how much longer are we going to go on with this whole thing? Like, you know, is this what it's going to be now? For how many months now? That it's the longest time I've seen a division go on where the world title has not been presented, where it's not been shown. Whereas at least on other divisions, the title is being shown, whether it's being held hostage, whether it's being used to hit someone with or whatever, you see the world title. Now, I know it's the wrestler that makes the title, but if that's the case, I'm not really seeing anything from Jon Moxley that says to me, yeah, he deserves to hold that title. Like I said in the last prediction, he could do all the stuff he's doing now without the world title. As a matter of fact, it would be more of a cause without the title. And then if he decides to go for it, he goes for it. But again, we've already been here, which is why I say I don't know where this is going. Wherever it could go, it's already been. So why are we going there again is basically my question. Swerve, on the other hand, I don't know whether he's going to get a clean win. Obviously, he's not. The Death Riders are going to get involved. But what's going on with Hangman Adam Page? Is he going to help him, or is he going to screw him even further? We saw the altercation between them backstage on AEW Dynamite. So anything could happen right now. Anything could happen. However, in terms of this prediction thing, again, this is really hard for me to call because, again, Swerve could win and Moxley could retain, which he has been doing. But like I said in the last one, I didn't think Edge was going to be the one. I didn't think Adam Copeland was going to be the one that beat him, and clearly so. That proved it. Yes, it was a very, very nasty match with the spike in, literally spiked in Jon Moxley's back and stuff, getting suplexed on it. But with this one, it's a little bit more difficult because Swerve is actually worthy of becoming AEW World Champion again, and I think it's time for him to become champion again. So, your new, I'm going to be brave, your new AEW World Champion, I'm going to go ahead and say Swerve Strickland, although if Moxley retains, boy, I'm not going to be impressed.
Okay. So there's two guys voting with heart because we don't care. The guy who's middle ground has joined us, and the other two seem to go Team Mox. Yet they don't like the Death Riders. Matters not. All that matters is you have stuck with us for 1 hour plus. So I do appreciate that, guys. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I hope you enjoy Dynasty. Do comment below anything you do agree with, didn't agree with. Tell us to shut up. Don't really care. Just I do care because guess what? You like wrestling, we like wrestling, so let's talk wrestling. That's the interaction I'm talking about. Not that I don't care about your comments. I appreciate everything that's ever said. So until the next time, guys, I am the one AJ Anthony Jordan, and I will see you soon because I am out.